whatever.
Okay. So sorry, everyone watching on stream. We're attempting to resolve the technical difficulties. We should have the client back up again. We see a first pick Xerath coming out.
Yeah, and actually that was a ban last game from Clamba22adors. Xerath is just a really nice safe pick, and I expect, given that there was a first pick Xerath and there was a Xerath ban last game, I expect that, you know, Xerath is something that the Galactic Trendsetters mid laner has practiced. Instant lock Hecarim.
Yeah. So actually, I'm kind of curious to see whether Clamba22adors is going to pick something, a mid lane champ with a lot of mobility, so something like an Ahri maybe, into that Xerath and try and punish his lack of mobility in lane.
Yeah. I am a little surprised that we're not going to see the Draven come out, but, you know, Caitlyn and Xerath work really well as a nice poke team. Jarvan can be used as disengage if you play him the correct way. Could be a possible Ezreal pickup. I really don't agree with that. Just because Caitlyn does such a good job in lane versus Ezreal. It's just such a hard lane to play as Ezreal because of that range. And, you know, if Caitlyn stands behind minions, he can't land his Qs at all. And on top of that, Janna doesn't really have much lane presence besides just kind of buffing up the AD carry.
So with that Graves ban, what ADC do you think they can pick into Caitlyn and have kind of a shot at staying in it in the lane?
Yeah, I mean, it's true. Like, Caitlyn's just going to bully everybody, really. Ezreal is not my first choice. You know, I might expect someone like a Sivir, who can at least trade with auto attacks thanks to the Janna buff. You know, Draven if you could play it, but I expect that Clamba22adors hasn't really practiced the Draven.
Yeah, so they're gonna pick the Orianna again, as we saw in the last game. Kind of there was one early engage with a really good Orianna ultimate, but later in the game they just weren't able to really make that count in team fights. And without that sort of team fight Orianna presence, it's a tough pick.
A really interesting team composition, actually, because they've got three sources of poke from the Zyra, the Caitlyn, and the Xerath, as well as a lot of really, really good engage, right? Because if you get a Zyra root, or a Jarvan EQ, or a Jarvan ult, pile that with the Nard jump and ult, that's a really nice team fighting composition. I really agree with Galactic Trendsetters' choice here. Both games to be focused on a very, very team fighting oriented comp.
So actually, it's interesting. We might be seeing a top lane Hecarim out of here as they're hovering Fizz, and I just don't see a top lane Orianna or Fizz working out well at all against the Gnar.
Top lane Fizz can work. You are right. I think he would probably have a hard time in lane against Gnar. Yeah. Technically, Fizz can jungle as well.
Yeah, jungle Fizz is off-meta pick.
That is going to be Fizz locked in. We'll see if Clamba22adors does any swapping around. So it's a kind of an interesting composition from Clamba22adors. I don't really like this so much. They don't have much early lane presence. They don't have very good team fighting. They don't really have very good split pushing. They don't have much of anything at this point besides maybe a bit of disengage. Yeah. I'm skeptical, but we'll see.
Yeah, so we do have final team comps. We do see that Jarvan Gnar hype. So if they can chain together those two ultimates, that is some devastating knockups. Actually, Jarvan Gnar Zyra, just all those ultimates together with Xerath, and that's about a dead team. Yeah,
pretty much. So we are going to take a short break while we load onto the Rift, and we will see you guys shortly.
Hello everyone, we are back on the Rift for Game 2 between Galactic Trendsetters and Clamba22adors.
Yeah, so I think with just the way the team composition's working, I don't really see any way for Clamba22adors to win this game, honestly. You know, like, sometimes with bad compositions you can still kind of like win lane and then roll off of that into winning the game. But in this case, you know, like, Ezreal Janna can't really do anything against Zyra Kate. Orianna, like, can't solo kill a Xerath because Xerath isn't going to be anywhere near her, right? He's just going to, like, blast out stuff and clear the wave and walk away. Fizz, and they actually do clear the ward. Yeah, good coordination there.
And so again, we see a five-man group from Galactic Trendsetters on the blue side this time. Last time they kind of sat in a bush behind the red buff and couldn't really do anything, but clearing out an early ward as we see Gnar making his way up to top lane.
Yeah. The only real chance that they have, that Clamba22adors have right now, is the Fizz versus Gnar lane, especially with that Ignite versus a teleport. But, and you know, last game we did see Clamba22adors top lane taking Air Day to town. I mean, he was like 0-4 by the time laning phase was over, but it doesn't really matter, you know. Later on, like, team fight wise, you know, you kind of can see something like put the ball on Hecarim, speed him up, let him run, and then Ori ult, I guess. But, like, you compare that to just honestly amazing composition from Galactic Trendsetters, and there's no comparison.
Yeah, that's still nowhere near. I think the scariest combo I've seen is the double ulted Mega Invisible Death Kitty. When you get Orianna and Lulu onto a Rengar and dive him into the whole team. That's scary right there.
Orianna Rengar is a nightmare. One of the other ones actually that people used with invisibility a while back was Shin and Evelynn. Because Evelynn can just kind of walk up behind someone and then ult a team, and then Shin ults her. Yeah, so Gnar actually going to play a little passive here. He can bully Fizz, at least for the first few levels, but, you know, no real need, I guess.
And Galactic Trendsetters pushing in this lane a little bit early, so...
Going to hit that level 2 first. And really, the way that this lane works is they're going to want...
good stun by Zyra, getting some decent chunking damage onto them.
Yeah, I think they kind of want to wait. They could have treated that a little better just by timing Zyra's engage with Caitlyn's headshot, but as it stands, you know, really good damage. The way that this lane is going to work out for Zyra and Caitlyn is they want to be pushed up all the time so that they can just kind of take pot shots at Ezreal and Janna from under their tower. Because Ezreal has a really hard time farming under tower without using his Q. And even with using his Q, you know, like, you can get a couple creeps, but it's just really, really hard. And Janna's not really going to be able to help him out with last hitting there. So what we're probably going to see is, you know, a lot of jungle focus down in that bottom lane because Zyra and Caitlyn are going to be pushed up so much.
Yeah, so I think we can expect to see, like we did last time, a pretty passive mid lane. We have Xerath matching up against Orianna. Neither of them are kind of able to dive super aggressively onto the other one, so probably not going to be too many early kills in that mid lane without the help of a jungle gank coming in.
Gnar going aggressive on the Fizz, just going to kind of trade around a little bit. Actually, very heavy trading, actually. Gnar trying to retreat back to his turret is going to make it. That was a really bad trade just because there's so many minions right there. I was going to say that Gnar had, you know, kind of a theoretical advantage.
Fizz flashing in, and the Ignite is going to take him down. First blood to Fizz.
I was going to say that Gnar had a really good advantage there with the farm because while it looks like Fizz is ahead by 5, there are actually a lot of creeps there for Gnar to take and, you know, farm. But the minion aggression, you know, all those creeps right there, Gnar jumping in, really bad idea.
Yeah, we'll see if he teleports back to lane just to try and get those. It looks like he actually is just going to walk all the way back. So Gnar with just a longsword and a Doran shield to start off. He's going to have a tough time getting back. Hecarim coming in for the gank. Nice Xerath stun there. We'll just stop that in its tracks. So,
yeah, Jarvan actually looked like he was sort of walking over, but decided to go back to farming. Actually, Hecarim moving down to the bot lane. Hopefully the communication is there. Actually, you know, honestly, even with the Hecarim gank, I'm not sure that they can pull this off, just because Ezreal and Janna are, low on mana, and Ezreal's kind of chunked, and they're just going to back off.
Yeah, Hecarim rides in. The rest of his team not engaging with him there. You can see Ezreal is way back from the fight, and they might actually just turn this back around onto Hecarim. He's going to have to dash out. Xerath coming in all the way from the mid lane to try and pick up the kill there, and nearly getting onto that with this Q. So you can see Hecarim running back out of the bot lane. Now we have 3 down in the bottom lane for Galactic Trendsetters. They're going to get a good chunk of damage down onto this turret already.
Neil. Okay.
Picking up the turret aggro and nearly going down.
Xerath thought he had heal and tried to heal Caitlyn, instead burned Ghost.
And Fizz again going to try and trade onto Gnar, getting a lot of good damage there. So he doesn't have the Ignite backup because it's used to get the first kill. And the cooldown's not quite long enough, and Fizz diving under the turret picks up a second early
Gnar should have
kill.
flashed. He had flash up. He should have just flashed.
Yeah. So this
honestly,
Gnar, much like last game, getting shut down early by this top laner.
He was playing too far forward. Basically what happened is, after that dive, the wave kind of crashed into the tower and slowly started building up, so that by the time Gnar got back to lane, the wave was starting to push toward Fizz. At which point, the wave starts getting closer and closer to Fizz's tower, and Gnar can't actually be that far up in the lane, because as we just saw, Fizz will just straight up jump on him and kill him.
You can see Hecarim going for the grump. Red team pinging on to Xerath there. Hello.
Yeah, and also that Xerath roam is a little weird. It was a good thought, and I think because the wave was pushed up in the tower, it's fine. It's not like he really lost much.
Real quick, Hecarim gang coming in right here. He's going to get the stun onto Xerath. Orianna just a little bit too far away to follow up on that, but they will get the flash out of Xerath in the mid lane. So we're going to see if they return to that lane in just a couple minutes to see if they can take advantage of that summoner spell disparity.
Yeah, I mean, that's jungler 101, right? You burn the flash and you come back.
Yeah. And Ezreal doing well to shift out of that Zyra spell there. So we see up in the top lane, Fizz waiting in the bush. Does Gnar know he's there? Fizz going to dive in onto Gnar once again. But
this is the troll pull.
Yeah, can't land the big damage.
Fizz does have that sheen right now, though, so that's, and is also level 6. That's a really big power spike for Fizz.
Yeah,
surprisingly, though, he's only up 7 CS.
Yes, which is especially surprising with that huge wave that you saw Gnar miss early on in the game.
Yeah.
You'd kind of expect Fizz to have pushed that advantage further. And Gnar is just really scared of the Fizz at this point. You can see as anytime he goes in, just immediately jumping back.
Yeah, Gnar really needs to hit that level 6 soon. Because until he's level 6, he doesn't really have any, defense against getting dove by Fizz.
Yeah.
Fizz is really great at diving towers, just because, he can use the troll pull to get rid of the tower aggro, and actually a lot of damage going on this Ezreal.
As you can see, we had that engage on the bottom side going on, and Ezreal having to back off Zyra, accidentally picking up turret aggro once again, so...
Gnar does have level 6, so he is reasonably safe unless he gets too chunked.
So we'll see him playing it fairly safe down there. And once again, the bot lane continues to be very pressured from Galactic Trendsetters. You can see that's about 2/3 down, and Fizz getting in yet another kill. Jarvan going to try and get the return onto him, and we'll see if Fizz can get that troll pole off cooldown, see if he can get out of there, and yep, he'll be just fine. Getting back under his turret, so... Early 3-0 on Fizz, all of those unassisted, all of those onto Gnar. Janna trying to shield up the turret to keep it safe in the bot lane, and...
Yeah, and we're going to see the same kind of...
Not going to be successful. That bottom turret going down very early. That's not even 9 minutes into this game we've seen that bottom turret go down.
Right now, Caitlyn has 40 creeps on Ezreal, plus the tower. Probably going to go back and pick up the BS sword. We're going to see the same kind of game plan that we saw last game. Because it's really similar what happened, actually. Gnar in the top lane got creamed, and then the bottom lane won. And so what Galactic Trendsetters needs to do is take this advantage that they've built in the bot lane and apply it in the rest of the map. You can bring Caitlyn and Zyra to the mid lane and siege down that tower, or you can rotate them to the top lane, try to kill Fizz, probably won't be able to.
And another gank coming in the mid lane. Hecarim going to try and get on to Xerath, and... Again, the rest of the team just a little bit too far away, and now the Galactic Trendsetter is going to try and turn it back. You can see the Cataclysm blocking it up. That was Xerath getting the kill onto Orianna with that ultimate, and Hecarim able to, I believe that was his ultimate to get away right there.
Yeah, really good counter gank there by Jarvan.
Yeah, excellent play by Jarvan, getting that Cataclysm and just locking up Hecarim. He's not able to do anything in that fight.
Yeah, and now that Orianna's gone, there's no wave clear for Clamba22adors to stop this this push.
And as you see, Ezreal's ult flying across the map.
Yeah, I'm going to try to clear a little bit of that wave, but yeah.
Again, not quite enough, and we see the second turret of the game already going down, so just a minute and a half between those two turrets. And Galactic Trendsetters pushing heavily onto Clamba22adors. It's a lot of early map pressure they'll have to overcome.
Yeah. On the other side, Clamba22adors really needs to start taking this advantage they've built up with Fizz and trying to apply that elsewhere. Unfortunately, he's only up 13 creeps. I guess he's just been having a really hard time farming this lane. This is a creep right there. Does have the 3 kills. Can try to jump on Gnar, but you know the advantage that he has just isn't the same as the advantage that the Galactic Trendsetters bottom lane has. Wow, he's I hate to say he's really bad at farming.
Yeah, and actually the other thing about Xerath picking up that kill on Orianna is that that also gave the blue buff over to Xerath.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah, and Xerath
give him
blue buff
big
is
advantage in the mid lane. And
not a happy day.
Fizz once again trying to dive on Gnar, gets the shark onto him, then flash in underneath the turret, and
that was a weird
can't pick
flash.
up the can't quite pick up the kill.
Yeah, he didn't really have any cooldowns up, I guess, and so I don't know. Probably shouldn't have flashed there. I guess obviously shouldn't have flashed there.
As we can see, as we missed that fight right there, unfortunately, but Xerath picking up the kill onto Hecarim, so
yeah, I mean,
again,
it's probably
you can
just
see Jarvan in the area.
some sort of lockdown.
Yeah, Hecarim trying to make things happen, and Jarvan's doing a good job shutting him down. So we'll see Galactic Trendsetters now with position on the dragon. There is a ward right in front of the dragon pit. So.
Yeah, but it's not like they can contest. They have no jungler.
Ezreal trying to get it in. Actually, early smite might have left it open. But you can see, and now they're going to try and turn this team fight around. Xerath with the ultimate up again. Caitlyn, and that's not even going to have time to go through. Xerath picking up the kill before Caitlyn's ult can even be shot. And they're going to be chasing after Orianna here by the wolf camp. She is going to get away from there. And Galactic Trendsetter is going to just pick up a little bit of Clamba22adors' jungle before they head out again.
Yeah, and Galactic Trendsetters are honestly doing the right thing right now. They're completely ignoring Gnar. He's having a pretty bad day.
And
getting trashed.
And yet again, as we were looking at that team fight, you can see Fizz picking up a 4th kill on Gnar in the top lane.
Yeah, Caitlyn needs to get out here. She's probably going to die. Jarvan running down. Does have his ultimate, actually.
And Jarvan getting into the middle.
Dunk him.
He gets the Cataclysm, locks him up, so sets up a nice kill for Caitlyn there. And Jarvan, that's a lot of damage onto Orianna with the Dragon Strike. Can't quite follow up
by
on it.
Jarvan. Jarvan should have waited for his E to come up. If he EQ'd, he could have gotten a knock up and killed them.
Yeah, so gets some damage. The Flash, he's still got the Shark on him.
Yeah,
Flash does not get rid of the Shark. Pro tip for everyone watching stream.
Fizz, like, it's really hard from Fizz's position, right? Because Gnar is just going to stay in top lane, like, keep pushing. And if you ignore him, he's going to catch up and eventually be a really big teamfight menace. And if you don't ignore him, well, then you're up top lane and you're letting your team, who's already really far behind, just get trashed. You know, now with 13 minutes in, there's a 4,000 gold lead for Galactic Trendsetters. Just, you know, the 2 towers they've taken and all the advantage that the bot lane has picked up. It's about 40 creeps now for Caitlyn over Ezreal and 30 creeps for Xerath over Orianna.
And Xerath trying to come in here from the side, and he's their main wave clear at the moment, so gonna keep those minions off the tower safely.
Yeah, and actually there's a lot of wave clear coming out from Galactic Trendsetters. You got the Caitlyn, the Zyra, and the Xerath, all really great sources of wave clear.
Yeah, as you can see, Gnar is starting to sit close to his tower, which is good. Probably the right strategic call from him at this point. As soon as Hecarim shows his face anywhere near that lane, he just backs up into the tower.
Yeah, it honestly doesn't really matter all that much because, I mean, if he pushes up, like, sure, he becomes a target, but he's not really worth that much gold anyway. And anything that, you know, any resources that Clamba22adors spend on Gnar are resources that they really need elsewhere on the map.
So, Clamba22adors finally starting to get a little bit of damage in onto that tower, but they're going to get quickly pushed back by that Caitlyn coming into the bot lane.
Yeah, Caitlyn is, you know, a lot of wave cleared, really strong.
Yeah. And we'll now see Jarvan just going for the counter jungle as they will try and stretch their dominance over the map right now. He is stood on top of a ward at that blue buff, so we'll see if Clamba22adors can make him pay for this, trying to draw the blue buff back. I don't think they'll be able to get it in time. And Ezreal does not get it. That's Jarvan with the blue buff, so...
I think they just don't have the ability to contest right now. Fizz is going to be in the top lane, so almost immediately the Clamba22adors are pushing up, and like Caitlyn's in that bottom lane. Caitlyn's shoving that wave. She's going to take that tower, and there's really not much that they can do.
As you can see, Orianna and Xerath getting into a fight in the mid, and Xerath long range ultimate picks up 1 kill. Not a second. Orianna is still in a little bit of danger there, and she'll make it out to the turret. Plant dies surprisingly quickly with the laser turret, and we're going to attempt to show you down in the bot lane as a big wave pushing onto the inner turret now in the bottom lane, and Caitlyn and Zyra are going to take that one quite comfortably. So again, really good just map pressure all over from Galactic Trendsetters here.
Yeah, that's my damages.
Yeah, Xerath on Ezreal is not a fair fight right now.
Yeah, he doesn't have any mana. Xerath doesn't, so there's not much that he can do at this point, but yeah. Right now, I think Gnar should still be farming. Just try to draw whatever he can, honestly. Because if someone comes, like I said, if someone comes to stop him, then the rest of his team just kind of waltzes through the rest of the map. At this point, it's almost it's a 6,000 gold lead basically at 16 minutes, which really you just don't see people come back from. Like, you could probably see Galactic Trendsetters AFK for 5 minutes, grab a cup of coffee, come back, and still win this game.
As we'll see Fizz head back up into the top lane, and we'll see if Gnar even wants to just get anywhere close to this.
Jarvan's actually in this top lane. I don't agree with that. Yeah, he's backing off now. I think maybe he was looking for the Scuttle Crab or something, but right now they need to just group up as 4 and start walking forward and just destroy stuff. Yeah. Because I'm honestly not convinced that Clamba22adors could win a 5v4. Just because, their team is so far behind, right? You've got an Infinity Edge and Berserker Greaves on Caitlyn as opposed to a Manamune on Ezreal, right? Xerath has an Athene's, a Needlessly Large Rod, and Sork Shoes as opposed to Sork Shoes, a Chalice, and a Fiendish Codex.
Yeah. So we are seeing similar to last game. The Clamba22adors is handily winning the top lane, but the rest of the team, there's so much map pressure going down everywhere. We see already both bottom lane turrets gone as we have a 5-man run for the Scuttle.
Jarvan, ulti.
And the Cataclysm does catch him in there. Xerath putting down a lot of damage from the back line. The Zyra ultimate will go off, and I don't think hit anybody. Gnar picking up a kill on the outside of the fight. Orianna gets burned down by Xerath there, and Ezreal, you need to get out of there.
Yeah, Caitlyn does have her ultimate.
And Ezreal does not get out of there, and he will go down to that Caitlyn ultimate.
Yeah, it's an 18-minute ace.
And that's going to be an easy dragon pickup for Galactic Trendsetters here.
Yeah, that's actually one more thing that I forgot. Gnar has teleport, so there's literally no reason for him not to be pushing top lane until people start engaging. And then it's a 5v5. And this team is, this team's up 9,000 gold now. This team is so far ahead. They can just win any kind of fight ever. Yeah, so I don't think Caitlyn should be pushing right now. Gnar is, at the same point. That is how you generally want to do pushes. If you're going to split up, you should try to keep the waves parallel. But right now, Caitlyn, I think, might get assassinated by Fizz.
And Fizz coming in.
And that's
gets caught looking at the shop, and Troll Pole not catching. So
yeah, Caitlyn doesn't have flash back up. Good trap, actually really good kiting, but
Fizz just has more damage, and he will be able to burn her down in the end. So a good attempt. Actually gets caught on the trap in the bush. Can Jarvan turn this around for the kill?
Jarvan doesn't have ult.
Jarvan, and the Troll Pole from Fizz will keep him alive through that damage. And, Dragon Strike though at the end of that. Oh, and nearly the Ezreal ult coming down to finish off Jarvan. We see Xerath getting another kill there. Hecarim diving into this line. It's going to try and pick off Xerath, although he manages to get behind the wall. Zyra ultimate not catching onto Hecarim, but just the Xerath stun, turning it around. Xerath gets the kill onto Hecarim, going down right after. And a really busy team fight. Can Zyra get anything? Oh! And again, just turnaround after turnaround in that team fight. I think we saw at least 3 deaths on each side as we see the death timers coming back up.
Yeah, so it's okay. It's good, sort of, for Clamba22adors because they get to catch up. Like, the kills are worth more to them just for shutdowns and such.
And they'll kind of get a reset on everything that's going on in the map.
Yeah. But because Nara's pushing in top lane, basically what happened there is Fizz killed Caitlyn, and then Nara was in the top lane. So they more or less had a 3v5. And they just kind of kept going in like 1 by 1 by 1-ish. And just because they're so far ahead, they actually got a lot of... they got kills anyway. But, that's not really the fight you want to see.
Yeah, and again, the map pressure paying off huge for Galactic Trendsetters, and they'll push down the middle lane.
Good trap.
And can she turn it around onto Fizz? The Caitlyn ult, not quite enough damage. Ezreal actually putting a very good ultimate through there, getting a lot of damage down. We'll pick up the kill, and I think the Clamba22adors need to back off this fight now.
Yeah.
That they picked up a good kill there.
Actually, at this point, I mean, Fizz has to go back, so they do have a very small window where they can capitalize. But Hecarim might be out of position.
Hecarim caught out of it. He's got a lot of speed up, so he might be able to make it out of his own jungle. And yeah, they're can turn around and not chase. Although Hecarim really looking like he wants to engage, and I'm not sure that's what he wants right now. As he will attempt to pick up the blue buff there, and going to see a 4-man group at blue buff currently.
Yeah, so I don't agree with this Ezreal build. He's going mana immune into CDR boots. Probably going to be this kind of like pokey blue Ezreal. Probably see like an Iceborne Gauntlet sometime soon. And right now, that's really not what Clamba22adors need. Right now, what they need is damage. He should have gone like Triforce, should have gone like Infinity Edge, Bloodthirster, standard 80 carry build. Just because.
Yeah, and as you see on the other side, talking about the standard 80 carry build, we've got Infinity Edge and now a Phantom Dancer to go with the Berserker's Greaves for Caitlyn. So she's going to be able to put down huge damage onto a single target.
Yeah, I mean, just look at the farm leads, right? She's up 80 creeps on Ezreal, Xerath is up 60 creeps on Orianna. What more can we say besides, 10,000 gold lead? They're taking these kids to school.
Yeah. So you can see Xerath down the bottom lane. Just a little bit of posturing around that tri-brush, but nothing much happening in the end. As we can see, really everything's kind of starting to group around mid lane as Ezreal's down in the bottom lane trying to deal with that wave for Caitlyn. As Nars split pushing up there, and Hecarim with a good dive in that time, although Jarvan able to turn it around with the Cataclysm locking him in place. Cyber will go down for the second death, and they're just pushing in for so many kills that ends up as a 3-for-1 fight in favor of Clamba22adors.
Yeah, so if Clamba22adors is going to win this game, the way they have to do it is really, really slowly, really patiently, really good vision, and just play the picks, right?
More fights like that one.
Yeah, exactly. Let Fizz assassinate Caitlyn, kill Xerath. Honestly, at that point, Orianna used her shockwave on one person. I think it was on Caitlyn, but it doesn't matter because that's like once you kill those damage threats and you get this kind of like weird 4v2 situation, they'll win the fights. But still, at this point, like 9,000 gold deficit, it's really hard to come back from. Nara's group now. He has the Banshee's Veil. They might collapse on Ezreal now or Janna.
See Xerath in the jungle trying to get the pick onto Janna. So much damage out of Xerath, and he's going to get the kill with that ultimate in the end. As we can see now, a fight in the bottom lane, and they're pinging for Xerath to get some more damage onto Ezreal. 2 hits there. Excellent ultimate out of Xerath.
I think Caitlyn should have just tried for the ulti. I don't think she would have had no damage, but she burns the flash and the heal.
Well, I think it was trading flash for flash with Ezreal there.
Yeah, Ezreal also burned his heal though.
Yeah. So ends up one summoner spell ahead there. Might have been able to pick up the kill, as I think Caitlyn did have her ult up through that whole engage.
Yeah, but because she went Infinity Edge Phantom Dancer, she actually doesn't have that much damage. Maybe had she gone Infinity Edge Bloodthirster, which is another pretty common build on Caitlyn, you might have seen the damage, but yeah, how that stands, Ezreal had to go back, and he is going for that Iceborne Gauntlet route. He's gonna take his dragon, easy peasy.
Very, very quick dragon kill there from Galactic Trendsetters, and they're going to try and turn it around for the team fight.
The Gnar. Did he miss?
Orianna locking up Gnar, and I I think Clamba22adors need to back off this fight. This is not going to be a good fight for them.
Yeah, they really can't win a 5v5 at this point. Gnar is doing the right thing. He's grouped up. Even though he does have his teleport, honestly, there's no reason to go top lane, right? Just stay as 5, push down mid, keep pushing down mid, push down mid some more, and then push down mid and win the game.
So, Clamba22adors is now going to try and regain some control of their jungle, as again they've had some difficulty doing that once again this game. They're now going to group back up in the mid lane.
And I think right there that's kind of a weird play from Galactic Trendsetters. They sent Xerath and Gnar back, and I think they could have pushed for a lot more advantages, but Gnar is going to go pick up that wave in the top lane, probably just start split pushing because he has his teleport up. And really, I'd expect to see Galactic Trendsetters just group up and start pushing. I really, with this 8-kill Fizz up, who has, Lich Bane Zhonya's, it's a lot of damage and actually a lot of safety too. I really don't like the Galactic Trendsetters splitting up, because Fizz can probably 1v1 just about anybody on this team.
Yeah, as we've seen, Galactic Trendsetters overall a much stronger team fight composition.
Yeah, and I guess one nice thing about the Galactic Trendsetters is that...
so real quick, we have Jarvan going on to Fizz here, and he's going to troll pull out of that one. So
yeah,
he did have Caitlyn backing him up there, so if Jarvan could have locked him up, that was a lot of damage coming back. The
90 caliber net, 2 dodge Earth. Jarvan, ult him.
No Cataclysm. They do not lock them up, and the entire team is going to be able to
teleport something into that base.
And Ezreal, the ult cutting through that team, but really not doing a whole lot of damage, as we can see again, as you mentioned, with the Mana Moon and Sheen now, just not a whole lot of damage on this Ezreal.
Yeah.
So he's not really able to turn the fights in the same way that Caitlyn is. And Hecarim diving in once again. That's actually a big crowd control there on Hecarim.
Kill Fizz.
But they managed to turn it around easily.
Alright, they should win.
So far, 2-for-1 fight for Galactic Trendsetters now, as we see another Xerath ult coming down. Not able to pick up the kill this time, but and Jarvan diving in onto Ezreal will get the kill onto him this time.
Yeah.
So, and we've seen so many of the engages in this game. You've seen Hecarim diving onto the team and just trying to get that mass crowd control.
Yeah, it was a nice try, honestly.
Yeah, it worked,
because
worked
Xerath
really well in the middle.
and Caitlyn were pretty low. Kind of just because, last ditch effort. But yeah, I mean, Galactic Trendsetters are so far ahead.
Yeah, now we can see that they have a lot of objective control again. They'll get that turret up there. And yeah, yet again, Hecarim diving into the middle of the team, trying to get crowd control of everybody, but that's a 4v1 fight, and they turn it around on him pretty easily. Fizz gonna try and chase, gets slowed down by that Xerath E, and Ezreal
tried to pick up Zarya, but no siree.
Nearly getting the kill. Got the minion wave though. Wasn't a total loss.
Yeah, so there's a big wave in the top lane right now. Someone's gonna have to go deal with that.
Looks like it is Janna going to deal with that right now, so we'll see if she can keep it off the turret. She's gonna shield up that turret, so it's gonna...
Yeah, but it's bad because
delay long enough for somebody else to clear
all
that wave, but nobody's coming to help clear that wave just yet.
All that farm is going to waste, honestly. Like that's so much experience in gold. At least Janna will be able to pick up a little bit of gold and all the experience. So it is nice.
Yeah, so she does successfully hold the wave off the turret. Takes a little bit of damage there. And now in the mid lane we have Fizz and Caitlyn standing off one another, and these teams are both converging on the mid lane, so we might see a big fight. Ezreal still split pushing in the bottom lane though, so this is going to be a 5v4 fight in favor of Galactic Trendsetters, and yeah, Clamba22adors cannot fight that, and they're just going to back off.
Yeah, Hecarim's actually going to his red right now, which is not where he needs to be.
Yeah, this is much more split from Clamba22adors than Galactic Trendsetters right now, and that's going to make it difficult for them to contend in a fight. And Ezreal is just taking jungle camps at the moment, so he's nowhere near this fight.
Damn,
getting blown up by Zyra, in fact. So it's actually Zyra was Xerath supporting. So yeah, Ezreal split up from the team. Easy pickoff there. Fizzle not landing as the well-timed Zonia's Hourglass. The Zyra ultimate is
really
going to catch them out. Really good Zyra ult. That's a lot of crowd control. Kills onto Janna and onto Fizz in the middle of that, and that's now 4 down for none. So they're going to take at least 1 inhibitor. They might be able to push that mid lane one down as well. As we can see, a decent minion wave, and Caitlyn and Xerath just chunking down this turret. That's going to be 2 inhibitors down. Orianna is up, but can't do anything, as she'll just hang back between the Nexus turrets.
Yeah. Caitlyn actually doesn't really have that great of a tower pushing build, but it's fine. Like, Bork is and a snipe.
Ezreal snipe.
Bork is a pretty good build against the composition, right? Because it, first of all, it's like, it's got the on-hit passive, which is like, alright, but the nice thing is the active for the self-heal against whoever's diving in, be it Hecarim or Fizz. Add that, with a summoner spell and like, a little bit of Zyra peel or Jarvan peel or something, right? And I mean, there's just, it's really hard to touch Caitlyn because she's so long range.
Yeah, and Caitlyn gonna pick herself up some free farm in this top lane, a big caster minion wave, and she's just about gonna be able to keep that top turret alive. So
yeah,
some free farm for Caitlyn, not something you want to see if you're on the other side.
I mean, at this point she's up 100. She's like basically double Ezreal CS right now.
Yeah. At
30 minutes in the game. Pretty massive.
Yeah, and again, Ezreal is well off from the rest of the team. We'll see if they can make them pay for that. Caitlyn is...
That's actually a misplay from Galactic Trendsetters. Dragon's up right now, and Caitlyn's in the top lane, about to get jumped on by Fizz.
Deep in the top side, actually.
Yeah.
So we're going to follow Fizz here, as we actually see a fight going on near Dragon as well.
Oh, dodges Earth.
Dodges the fish, and Galactic Trendsetters is going to control the Dragon fight. They're able to push Clamba22adors away, and Jarvan does get the smite in to kill it off. Hecarim again diving in to try and get the crowd control, but the rest of his team just not there with him, and they'll get the kill. Yeah, I think that was a flash dunk out of Jarvan, trying to get him Xerath ultimate, and dodged the last 2. So one out of 3 hits, can't get it, and that EQ combination out of Jarvan just easily catching Ezreal.
It looked like it went through a tornado. All right, whatever. I mean,
Janna will just barely survive.
Holy.
A lot of flashes going off in there, and they'll finish off the kill.
when you look at this, like, what happened is they had a 4v4 and like near Dragon and
Fizz going in trying to get the kill onto the back line.
Yeah, damage over time on Zyra.
Does get the kill on Zyra, but that's
basically
nearly the ace. Hecarim coming back up just in time to prevent that.
Yeah, I mean, basically Fizz 1v1 Caitlyn, and then the rest of the team like literally got trashed. So that's his game. Yep.
And Nexus goes down. That is going to be 2-0 in favor of Galactic Trendsetters, so they will take our first quarterfinal matchup.